you guys are wondering what this shit is, my boy here has 2 rods on his foot.
Are the Cajeros here?
Yeah, the Cajeros. You got microphone in your face, bro.
Oh shit,
dude. Why don't we start talking about what kind of weed we were smoking when we decided to break our foot? That's important to know.
Oh yeah. Let me show them the boot, I guess.
Show them the boot, bro. It's probably the reason why we haven't seen you in the live streets.
So I have this because I was smoking that good Cali shit.
You know, I recently started smoking weed to go to sleep, and it helps so much, bro. I don't know if you have this problem. I have this problem, and it's hard to shut my fucking brain off. Even if I mostly go to 2 games every day, and then I work during the day, and then games at night. And this is like just my life all the way across.
Yeah.
So, I started smoking. That shit puts me down like a baby, bro. I can't believe it took me 36 years to start smoking weed. But now I'm trying to figure out what kind of weed, because there's some that's way more potent than the other ones, and now I'm just asleep the whole fucking day.
Right.
And I can't do that shit, dude.
So I just learned about the 3 main strains. I'm sure there's a billion. I have no idea.
Okay.
So it's like the indica, sativa, and what's the other one? Indica, sativa.
There's a hybrid.
Oh, hybrid. There you go.
2 in 1, bro.
So indica puts you, it's a downer, I think.
Is it?
Or sativa's a downer.
So I kind of mix them all. I buy all 3. I just puff them, bro. That's my shit.
That's how you go to sleep, because your whole system is fucked up.
I find it, and you know what? I have this cocktail. If I know that I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep, well, I'll take an edible, because I know it takes 30 minutes to kick in.
Yeah.
And then I'll start smoking flower.
Yeah.
And then to keep myself up right where I need to be. Now I sound like a crackhead. Then I start doing the puff, because like you can't smoke inside your shit.
Yeah.
Right. You have to step outside, because whatever fucking laws these guys are using.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will lay me out. That's my Saturday shit. I come back from like either Sin City or Playground or wherever fucking playing on that day, and I know that I have the whole day to myself. I just fucking smoke myself stupid, bro.
So you sound like this regular poker player.
Yeah. So it's funny we were talking about this, because that balanced life is non-existent for me, bro. I try, like, my way of balance is I sleep 3 hours, I eat in between games, drink some alcohol, play some games.
But what would you add to that if you could, or desire to make it quote-unquote balanced?
So it's funny. I actually have a personal trainer. This guy's super awesome. Pure Wellness Fitness. One of them worked out in 3 weeks. The dude's like, you paid all these sessions, so you have to pay for them in advance. So I have a packet with him that I keep renewing with him, and it's 30 sessions for $19.50, which is like $65 a session. He's like, bro, because I understand him where he's coming from. If we don't use the sessions, then he can't sell me more sessions. But I'm fucking dead, bro. There's times where I'm just zombified. If you see me in some of these games, like on day number 7, day number 8, day number 9, it's usually me, 5 shots in, getting some sort of massage, trying to like concentrate on breathing, because I'm about to knock the fuck out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Like for me, balance is non-existent, but it's all about like the bottom line. And the bottom line, thank you. Thank you so much. You got the cute shit with the heart?
Yeah, man.
Okay, I didn't know this was a date. I would have dressed up, but it's okay.
You're more dressed up than me.
I came from work, but I'm telling you, man, money doesn't sleep for me. But it's okay. It kind of is what it is.
I'll still probably draw my panties for you. It's okay.
That's good. Oh, before we did anything, I should have introduced everybody. I should have introduced you. This gentleman is a cash game killer. He's also my coach, Fausto Valdez. You guys can follow him at what?
Instagram
at Fausto. Is it
Fausto_Valdez?
Yeah.
And then I have a coaching website, blueprintpokercoaching.com.
You know that. So let's talk about this for a second, because in the coaching sessions, you have this wonderful curriculum that I think a lot of people from like the 5'5", maybe even some 5'10s can really benefit from, like extremely benefit, because holes are through the fucking roof. I also see some really unbalanced people at 1025. But the real cool thing that I got from your sessions, the sessions that we're doing, is our ability to ask why. So like, I'm a guy, I'm really big on investing in myself. I probably own like $6,000 worth of courses on just upswing alone.
Yeah.
I was a member of their lab for God knows what, 2 years maybe. I own everything from rough to spot. And sure, some of that stuff was very beneficial. It helped me do things. But I feel like the biggest leaps that I was able to make was through your courses. And what I mean by that is, these investments that I was doing, I was I was stuck at 5'5". I was doing okay at 5'5". But you and I started in November. It's been almost a year. I've gone from 5'5" to being able to do pretty well at 10.25. So, and we're talking about uncapped games.
Yeah.
And one of the most beautiful things about this, at least for me, and what I like to elaborate for people, is the ability to ask questions. Because we have this curriculum that we're going through, but you're also open to the idea of, moving outside of the curriculum to answer questions. A lot of my questions were, I needed help transitioning my mentality from cap to uncapped. And so that did really well for me, man. And I don't think a lot of people understand the value of that. I mean, we were talking about this in the car. If you're playing, let's assume you're playing like a 5-5 game and it's a 1K cap.
Yeah.
Like, it's one buy-in to have access to somebody that's crushing it at those stakes or higher. Why not ask your questions? And then why not be well prepared? You said one thing to me. There's three things that were said to me in the last 12 months. One thing you said to me just fucking opened my mind to uncapped. To do with the question. And I'm not gonna say what it was right now. I'll let you know off camera because I don't want other people to get better. But like that's the level of exposure that someone will get with like a course that you have. So to that, man, I say thank you, and I would hope you charge more so less people have access to that shit. I want the games as soft as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like I guess to add to what you said about like learning from courses, like I think first of all they're very limited. So this is not even my opinion. It's just a fact that like books and videos that you learn from are limited because of the type of learning it is, right? Mm-hmm. The beauty about interacting with a coach is that you're able to express your thoughts and yourself. So that allows me to understand where you're coming from, where your mindset is at, so I could get directly to the core source and give you a guiding light going forward as to like, all right, this is where you're at and this is where you need to think about going forward so you could fix the problem, right? Yep. So that's why in the courses, like I always ask the question like why when we're talking about a concept, so I can understand where you're coming from, and when I know where you're at, I could guide you, and that allows me to be adaptable with different players, whether you're completely new or you're more advanced. That allows me to adapt to you, because if you're really good at something, I can just elaborate, give you different situations. Or if you're really new, I'll just teach you the concept as it is, right? Mm-hmm. That allows me to be adaptable with everybody. And just simply asking why allows you to express yourself, and then we take it from there. And having that interaction is really valuable.
You know what's really cool for me too, and this is one of the biggest differences that I saw, is a lot of these people that create courses, they're very much catered towards 100 big blind stacks. But the spot actually expanded to 150 big blind stacks. But I'm playing in games where we're sitting 300, 400, 500, 600 big blinds deep, and it's uncharted territory, my burrito.
Oh damn!
Thank you so much.
We gotta interrupt this intermission for.
Thank you so much.
Burrito came in.
This is breakfast for me, guys. I'm sorry. Like this is. So you want to be a poker player? You're gonna be eating breakfast at noon.
This is
whatever.
This cookie is the poker player's breakfast.
Yeah, man. And that was one of the cool things that I was able to do with you. We talked about different ranges, 3 betting, 4 betting, and consistencies. How it would fluctuate based on stack depth, and that helped me understand things so much more. To the point where I went 5'5" to 5'10". I stayed at 5'10" because I was having a hard time finding decent 10.25s, the higher ones. But I think that like my roll exploded between January and April at the 5'10", like literally just crushing. I had people reaching out, like, because I keep saying elevator going up. I've stopped right now, but people are like, dude, do you ever lose? I do lose. I just win a lot more than I lose, and at a much higher frequency that I do. And now people that I do bump into at games, can validate that because they're playing with me, they're seeing this, they're seeing that.
It was funny in the home games when people saw us talking.
Yeah.
Then the guy would look at me and they're like, "Oh, that's okay. Now it makes sense."
Yeah.
That's like Eric is fucking crazy. They're like, shut up.
Nothing to see here, bro.
Nothing to see here.
You know what's real treat for me? Now that I'm playing at the 10.25 level, is I get to play with some really, really brilliant people. So like the guy that I was going to interview, a good friend of yours, good friend of mine, Jurgen, I'm playing with him like 4 or 5 days a week. There's this guy that came from New York that really stands out to me. His name is Ben.
Sorry guys for the car thing. We're in the ghetto right now.
Yeah.
We're doing this raw and live.
we're just rolling with the punches.
So you're getting all the authentic everything right now. We might even get into a fight. I don't know.
We're definitely strapped. That's the thing. But the real cool thing about this, and I don't think these people notice this when they're sitting down, but like I'm not gonna lie about this. I think that I'm definitely willing to play with these sticks, but I think Jurgen and the Jurgens of the bands are at a completely different level, and I'm working to get there. So once in a while, man, I get these beautiful situations where one of these guys is directly to my left, one of these guys are directly to my right, and I just get to see them go to war, button versus big blind, over and over and over again. Yeah. And you see all these guys just folding and getting up and fucking standing and sitting. I'm gonna fuck it. That's me paying tuition there. I get to see Jurgen fucking do some crazy shit from the big blind or the other way around, and then the other guy adapt to the way they're doing. Yeah. And it's interesting seeing them adapt their strategy based on stack depth. Like Ben, I hope one day I can bring him in here, but I think that guy's like the boogeyman, bro. And you would not expect for the boogeyman to be some like skinny Chinese dude from like the East Coast. But that dude fucking crushes, bro. And of course, Jurgen's a killer too, dude. That dude's like.
They get into battles a lot.
It's beautiful, man. I mean, once in a while, I try to like poke my head in there and get in there. But most of my profit is when I have position on them. Then it's not too bad, because then I have a little bit more information on these guys. But it's definitely it's a fun experience, man. And that's kind of like my personality trait. So what I wanted to ask you, man, is, and this is an issue that I have with, is do you have any adjustments with emotions? Like emotions? Like, let me give you my example first. So I go when I'm playing, I go into fight or flight. Right. And it just removes empathy, sympathy, all this stuff from it. Right. So we're in this fight or flight stage for such a long time. Coming down from it is pretty hard. Weed helps a lot. Like thank you marijuana. Thank you so much for that. But a lot of the time I'm stuck there. Then I go to sleep. I wake up. I go to work. I do have 9 to 5 days. Then I come back and I'm playing again. And I'm right back to numbness. Am I just the only psychopath that goes through this? Are you going through the same thing?
This is very common. But so if your fight or flight responses are triggering is because you feel danger or like high level of stress and anxiety.
I don't feel anxiety, bro. I just don't feel anything.
Well, that's not fight or flight. You're just trying to like.
Yeah, you're just crazy. You're just nuts. Don't get me wrong. I'll laugh. I'm just saying there's nothing behind it.
Well,
and that affects me in my personal life too. So
yeah, that's not good because like I think throughout the years we've been taught like in poker like you want to be emotionless as possible just so you could execute, but that's wrong because we're humans and we thrive off of emotions and passion, right? We're emotional creatures. So what you got to do is like build a relationship with these emotions, understand why you feel a certain way, whether it's high or low, whatever, or in between. Understand the relationship and understand where it's coming from, and a lot of it's coming from fight or flight response, right? And joy and sadness or whatever, and that could be triggered from deep rooted stuff, right? So once you understand that deep rooted stuff and you understand where it's coming from, you can build a relationship with it. So next time it's creeping up, it doesn't trigger you, right? Like you could just see it for what it is. Like, oh, I'm feeling a little personal when this guy's 3-betting me, right? But once you recognize it, it's like, oh, it's just because like I was bullied as a kid or whatever, But it's not that. It's just I'm just playing poker. This guy has the freedom to 3-bet me. It's part of the game. It's a strategy. It's just normal. It's not personal. And once you remove that, it's like, oh, okay, well, let me just look for what it is and execute, You know
what helps me come down a little bit?
Also, wait, just very important, like, to add to that is that the reason we need the emotional part is because that's what allows us to care, right? Like, you strip that away, you get dull in this game and you stop caring. And when you stop caring, like, it gets worse. So you need to care about the game, So you need to feel like when you get fucking gut shot on the river, like, yeah, it sucks, Feel it, allow it to happen, move on though. Just don't let it take over your game. So you're allowed to feel that, yeah, it sucks. It's okay, man. Like, it's alright. But it's not the end of the world, right? It's just part of the game. You keep moving forward.
Fair point. By the way, took a shot at 2550 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Ate shit, got completely destroyed. The deck decided to not be my friend that day. And it's funny how you were saying about the gut shot, because in this particular hand,
Oh man, gut shots are strong, man.
no, it's not even gut shot, bro. I flopped enough flush to get it in against a 10 high flush. The guy hits a gut shot straight flush at me.
Oh,
For the casual 15K par, I'm like, oh, welcome to high stakes, bro. Welcome.
you got one.
Got one out of it for like fucking a use a cord, bro. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
So naturally, I reloaded and proceeded to eat some more pool there.
You didn't have enough pain, right?
Yeah, but you made some really good valid points. And see, I guess I've never really thought about it that way. I made a mistake for a very long time that maybe other people do as well. And it was trying to take on this journey on yourself, which is hard.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
Because you start conceptualizing ideas like the one that I have, and you start going down this path. And now, like, it affects my personal life. It affects so many different things. At the game, I have the ability to just pile shit and not really feel it, but it's like, what's the benefit of that if the other 20 to 22 hours out of the day I'm just numb, or in the process of not becoming, like, losing the numbness or getting right back into the numbness.
If you was a robot, that'd be great.
Yeah, no,
But you're not, man.
I'm not. And you know what the interesting part is? It's I'm like pushing my body to its limits, man. Like, I have heart problems. I have high cholesterol. I was trying to reach. You know how I found out I had heart problems? 2010. I was trying to reach Supernova Elite, 24 Tevlin, $57.
I didn't know you did that, alright.
Yeah, man. 2 months into it, I started feeling, in one session, I started feeling pain every time my heart would beat.
Okay.
Like, if sharp pain, not like take me to the hospital, but very concerning pain. Ended up going to the ER because it got progressively worse. So I went to the ER like at 2 a.m. because I'm not gonna stop playing at 8 p.m. because it's peak time priorities. And
if I die, I die. But we're not leaving now.
We're check racing this turn, bro. This is really good. And then, you know, they hit me when they had me connected to a machine. They checked my shit. But I do have information around the heart, so that apparently there's like a sack of water that like circles your shit.
Oh yeah.
And then like it was swollen. They even told me like, hey man, you get hit in the chest too hard, it'll get swollen to the point where it can stop your heart from beating.
Fuck, man.
So this is part of the reason why I started.
And they say poker isn't a sport, right?
Right, and then they look at it like, well, this is a degen story, but they were just some crazy degens. So at the time when I started thinking about the situation, I thought that the best approach would be to feel comfortable in like remove anxiety, this is part of the reason why I started training myself to not feel. So now I don't have those issues because I'm not feeling there, but now the issue is not feeling anything at all.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. But
and what happened is that if you try to do that, at some point it builds up because all you're doing is like suppressing it.
Yep.
And then one day, that one motherfucker is gonna hit you with a gut shot one too many times, and you're gonna fucking snap.
His name is Fausto Valdez.
Yeah.
If you're ever wondering why you're getting check raised on the turn and there's a gut shot, it's a gut shot. Like it got there. It got there, bro.
Yo, I have this theory that gut shots are infinitely stronger than combo draws.
Please elaborate, man.
The amount of times I've gotten hit with gut, it's gotten to the point like I have a group chat with my friends, and we changed our name to like gut shot like something gut shot relevant like gut shot heaven or something.
I love it, man. I love the idea of that. You know, I've created something that I like to call pain equity. And so, so what this is for me is when you go out of line knowing that this hand, if it works, or you throwing this hand, is going to cause so much pain on your opponent that he's going to spaz out.
Yeah.
So I'll risk $300 or $400 for the pain because I know we're going to stack it. I'll give you a good example. So we're playing at Playground.
You really are a DJ, huh?
Dude, 100%, bro. We're playing at Playground and we have the VIP. For people who don't know this, VIPs, whales, fishes, fun players, these all mean the same way, the same thing, just it doesn't have a negative connotation next to it. And I don't mean it in a bad way, I just mean skill set to the bank, like relative to like the bank.
You're more action and we gotta think more.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes less, but that's also a good thing. So this guy is down like 10K, and Ben's next to me, he's playing at this game. Of course Ben's next to me, of course he's to my left. I'm almost certain that guy has a script, for a seat script for live where he's always to my left, but whatever, bro. That's neither here nor there. So he's sitting down, he loses 10K, he gets up, and I'm all about customer service. Now I'll elaborate on that a little bit. So because I think that's something very important that a lot of people forget. So we get, well, you know what? Let's talk about that before we get to the story. Okay. So I think that we're through these training sites, through these training materials, people are trained to treat this as a business, which is 100% correct. You are responsible for the growth of your business. You're responsible to be able to manage your money, manage your time, manage your skill set. This is all true. The problem is you reach a certain level where the player pool is so small that now customer service becomes a very big aspect to it. Doesn't matter how optimized your business is. If you don't have any clients to sell your service to, you're out of business, right?
Right.
So the staring people down for fucking 3 big blinds like that shit needs to go. You want to stare me down when we're all in on the river, all for it, but
right.
take all the time you want. But if you're gonna fucking stare me for a 3-bet when it's a clear fold on your side, please eat a dick and just stop playing poker. We need less of you. And also, like, I'm working on getting better at drinking because a lot of these VIP players want you to drink, and I will drink and play with them. And
well, your customer service aspect, it depends on your environment, right? So
it does.
So if it's a casino game, right, like you don't have to drink, right? Like it's not a norm in that environment, right? So once you get to a certain point, like, you know, you have to be understand your clientele, right? Like per se,
like 100%.
So you know, play, don't take too long, right? Like if people want to talk. If they don't want to talk, you know, it's fine. You don't have to force it, right? But like, you know, if it's available and that's the atmosphere, like keep it going. Now in this home games, is that plus like the extraness, right? Like the drinking and all that stuff.
Fucking flipping. There's a lot of flipping. There's a lot of flipping. There's a lot of straddling. I straddle probably more than I should, but I do it so that we can keep these fun people playing. So anyway, back to the story.
I know how to talk shit without question.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
People love talking shit. I love it, man.
That's such a fine line, because like you say the wrong shit, you're getting laid out. You say the right shit, everybody's high-fiving each other. But back to the story. So this guy loses 10K in like an hour, right?
Yeah.
He gets up, he orders another 10K. He says, "You guys are fucking boring. Let's do flips." We did 6 flips back to back to back to back. I'm okay. All right, that's fine. A couple hands later, you guys are not giving me any fucking action. Bring us to this story. Now we're playing 500. So it is. We're playing 10-25. The guy opens to 100. I 3-bet 7-2 offsuit on the button with the intentions of doing this. If he folds, I show him. If he erases, I'm showing regardless, just so he sees that there's action happening. I'm willing to sacrifice $400 at this point to try to take 10,000 from him later on, right? So I 3-bet. Freaking Ben decides to come along, so he calls it 400. The homie calls it 400. I get a beautiful flop of 5-5-2. It goes 4 fold. Overbet the flop, of course. We'll talk about that later. He folds, I show up, the guy goes crazy. 1 hour later, everybody eats.
Yeah.
Guy ends up leaving. I end up making like, I think I make like 3.5K. Of course, Ben has the lion's share of this shit. He ends up like stacking them for like 500, and some other dude takes the last, whatever the difference is. But this is the level of customer service that I'm willing to go to make sure that these guys can continue playing, because I'm sure if he had another 10K, he might be steamed enough to continue fighting.
I have a similar story, but it ended up a different way. This is like when I just started playing PLO, like I was trying to get really into it.
Oh my God.
So I worked my way into the game with Paul Pierce, right? So I worked my way into the game with Paul Pierce, and I think this is our second time playing, because the first time we played, he was so blacked out that it didn't even matter, right? But the second time, he was not drinking as much, so he was more attentive, and I just somehow happened to run completely card dead in PLO. Somehow. So I run card dead.
You have 4 cards.
I know. I found a way. So I found a way to run card dead, and I naturally give action, so I never have to worry about, right? Like I never get the. In fact, I get invited to more games because of my action, and it's just my normal game. This day, somehow in PLO, I just ran card dead, so I was folding a lot. And Paul Pierce started took notice of it, and like he started talking shit to me. He's like, "Yo, this fucking tight ass, like what fucking like." He's like, "Go over there, like like go fucking eat something and shit."
We kicked somebody out. I'll tell you later. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, so I'm like, fuck, like I know he's right, but like I'm trying not to show that, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I raise like every third hand or whatever. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever and stuff. So I get like a bad PLO hand, but like just good enough to try to do something. So like I get that the next hand this is happening.
Yep.
And I get myself, I'm like, fuck it, let me do something here. So I open, somebody like 3-bets, Paul Pierce cold calls, some other guy cold calls. I'm like, fuck it, so I call, right? I think I had like two jack singles suited to the heart, like jack, like does dust or whatever, I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And
that sounds like a 3 a.m. hand.
Yeah. And I think I had a low card because when the board came out, like I blocked the straight and I had a flush draw. So I was like,
probably.
Yeah, and the game was so crazy that I'm like, this is actually probably good enough.
Yeah.
I am like 4 or 5 ways, so it's kind of dangerous, right? But I'm like, I blocked the straight, which is the most important thing. I do have a flush draw, so I can't be that bad.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck it. So like, I ended up like check jamming or whatever, like jamming. I get called fucking like 2-3 ways. I'm like, fuck me, man.
Oh man.
And this is me going out of my way to try to like give action.
Yeah.
Long story short, we get to the river and both of the guys flopped the fucking straight. Paul Pierce and like one of the host guys. So I'm like, fuck me, man.
Well, they can't call you a nit at that point, right?
Yeah, but yeah, and then I look, I'm like, I hope you're happy, man. I looked at it, he's like, you're giving some, actually opening up now. I'm like, alright, yeah, cool, whatever. Dude, but it cost me fucking like, at that point I'm in for like 10K. I'm like, fuck.
Was this your birthday game?
No.
I heard something similar happen to you at Malibu.
Oh my god, man.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? How's he in 10K? It's been an hour, bro. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Alright, my birthday game was wild. So, first of all, epic game. Shout out to Paul. Malibu Paul, but yeah. So, game was amazing. Like, I was doing good. And, like, this legendary guy comes in, like, at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm, like, infinite shots in already, but like my like B and C game is like better than these guys, and like even when I'm like bro, half drunk,
I think your D game is better than a lot of people, bro. It's very clear. When I talked to you, it was very apparent that you're way smarter than me. I was like, okay, let's try to this.
Like I'm looking at like his game and I'm still able to strip it down, right? So I'm like stripping it down like half drunk, and I'm like, I already see this guy's pattern. And I'm like confronting with like Jurgen, because he was there, Jurgen and like Paul, and I'm like telling him this and that and that, and they're seeing the same thing. I'm like, I got this, whatever. So as I'm getting into hands with this guy like, as crazy as he was playing, he just could not fucking miss. Like he just couldn't.
That's
like
the fucking worst.
Like I would get 2 play over 2 play on my head, he hits the fucking the other like top whatever. Or like we get set over set, like I'm on under the set, or like I'm ahead, he hits me with a gut shot. Like the gut shot happened like 3 times. I'm like, yo, I cannot fucking believe this. And we get to a point where like 3-4 handed, like me, Jurgen, him, and I don't know, it was Paul, somebody else, and it's like 7 in the morning now, and I've been playing for like, I don't know, 12-15 hours already, and I'm just trying to get unstuck from like 10K or whatever.
You just described half of us, dude, every night. I don't even want to profit. Close to even.
And then it gets to a point, it's like 9 in the morning, he's like, alright guys, like I gotta go, and I'm like, alright, fine, man. And I forgot how much I lost. I think I lost like maybe 7K that day, but it was so insane. Like he just could not miss. Like, and I had him like corner, like dead a bunch of times, and he just like gets there. I'm like,
that's funny, bro. Dude, do you remember the last time we played?
There was even a PLO hand where he like 2 out of me.
What?
Yeah, like I was ahead, like we get the money, he like 2 out of me. I'm like, alright.
That's burn. Do you remember the last time you and I played? We played 5-5-10 at Commerce. We're all fucking around with this guy. This fun player came from Vegas. He started. He convinced the whole table very quickly to do a dead 20 under the straddle, and he was donking blind. And you told him, you're like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna min race you blind one."
Oh yeah.
And you threw in the min race, a guy on the fold. I was like, "What the fuck?" How off was this guy in correlation to like the board and his cards? From to fold to a fucking min, but I thought he would just snap it off, bro. But in that same game, I don't know if you remember, where him and I essentially got our stacks in blind, and I had an 8-high double-suited rundown.
Oh yeah.
And then I just fucking flopped gin. It was the funniest shit. He couldn't believe that I got 1500 in pre-flop with that, because it was pot, repot.
And you did that blind, right?
Yeah, and then it was going to a flop. I was like, wait, dealer, before you do anything. Like, because he let out dart again. I said pot, which puts us all in, and he called it off blind too.
Yeah,
Gin, bitch.
You guys did everything like pot blind, and then on the flop before cards come out, I was like, yeah, just go all in, man, fuck it,
dude. And that is pain equity. Equity at its finest. I fucking.
Didn't he leave after that? He left. Right?
He was in multiple bullets. I think that was the I'm gonna get it back when we play serious, and then he just ran into my craziness. See, this is one of the cool things that I feel that helped me out so much in these games. because as you go up, you're going to be playing with very talented people. I'm playing with very talented people. So I thrive.
By the way, use everything we said at your discretion.
Yes.
Right out of advice.
Do not be playing a video for your entire for 1/3 of your role. Do not do that.
Yeah, you gotta accept your death if you're doing this.
Yes. It goes wrong more often than not, but it makes for a good story. So one of the things that I've gotten pretty good at, and so okay, I'm playing these games with these really good people, and so what I do to kind of equalize things is I try to create an environment as chaotic as possible.
Yeah.
I wonder if it sounds better if we remove the mic. What do you think?
I don't know. Trying to see the comments.
Do your thing.
Well, just leave it on now because it's already there. So.
All right, so we're there.
We could fix it later.
Okay, so I thrive. What makes me successful on a lot of the tougher games that also have VIP players is just creating a chaotic environment. That removes a lot of that shit. Like, okay, so if we were to spread skill set across 5 different, like everybody's skill set across 6 different sections, and let's assume that Jurgen is ahead of me plus 50 here, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. If we create a chaotic environment, an environment that's chaotic enough, these might go away and this might drop down to a 15, and that's something I can live with.
Yeah.
Right. Also, fold to Jurgen. just fold to the fucking god and then just move on and understand that there's better spots for that shit. Wait for him to take a restroom break and then start like smashing on the table. But that actually helps me out a lot, man.
You know how I met Jurgen? We were playing like in the pandemic, right? Only Jammu was open, so we like ran into each other a lot there.
All the way down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
shit.
then we ran into each other in Lake Elsinore. But in the midst of that, right? You know how you have that one reg that just always gets you?
Yeah.
It was fucking Jurgen.
I told you, bro.
Jurgen, like, no matter what, like, I could tell, like, he knew what he was doing, right? So I was playing him more, like, theoretical and all that stuff, right? And he just always had the top.
Yep.
Like, always. And it's, like, spots where, like, I've seen him, like, bluff other people and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I know it's in him. But every time he's against me, he just has it, you know? And I was like, fuck, man. So Jurgen just always had my number.
I'm convinced that Pyle runs sims through Jurgen to double check its work. That's the way it works, dude.
Yeah, but it's like, I feel so bad because, like, he always gets me, and then, like, you know, when we were playing the same games, like, higher stakes, like, he was just running so bad. I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? What's really interesting about this stuff? Despite all these negative views that people have about us gambling and this and that, overall, I think the majority of the people that I've run into are pretty decent people, man.
Yeah, man.
Just people trying to get by, make a living. People that found a way to be successful at a card game, be it 2, 3, 6 cards, depending what game selection you have. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think too many people still think that we're. It's funny. I was gonna say a lot too many people think that we're in a room drinking, smoking, doing fucking coke off the tables and playing. There's some merit to that on some games, but
some games, yeah.
But the majority of us, it's young, middle-aged people, and just trying to play a game, man.
Yeah, I mean, poker brings out a lot of your character out, you know, and you see that you can like tell like who has their shit together, who's trying to get their shit together, right, which is fine, and then people that just are very clearly there just to have fun or just have no idea what they're doing. And you know, at some levels, it kind of it may say about your character, but like your mannerism of how you handle yourself around the games like says a lot about your character a lot, you know, because poker just brings it out of people.
That is true. Yeah. I've met some people that are very, very successful outside of poker. They're not very nice people, man.
Yeah.
And you could tell it's people that reach a certain level of success at an early age, continue to succeed, they have everything you ever wanted, and just treat people like shit. And then there's people that are the opposite, that have reached the same level of success, and I guess maybe it's the way they obtained it, or the type of people they were around. I don't know, but it's weird. I'm in agreement. I think it's an amplification of your personality, of how you are.
Yeah, it's your mentality, like how you approach the situation. That people are clearly trying to take your money. There's luck involved, you know, skill and all that stuff, and yeah, it just brings out like how you are as a person, like how you handle that, you know, like you're either gonna be egotistical about it, like graceful about it, like somewhere in between, you know.
So let me ask you something, man. How excited are you for them to take the rods out and you actually step into a casino again, wherever you want to play?
Yeah, so for people that don't know, I broke my foot. So for the past 2 months, I've been hibernating in my house. And I have 2 metal rods inside my foot holding my bones together. They're gonna take it out next week. Thank fucking God. And then I should be able to be walking a week or 2 after that. That's why you guys see this thing right here. It's a knee scooter, so I could walk.
So you've mostly been playing online?
Yeah.
Some tournaments.
You know, in a sick way. I'm kind of glad I broke my foot.
Yeah. Why?
Cause I had plans to get ready for WSOP like MTT wise. So like, you know, I got my own coach, right, and he's been helping me with that. My plan was like work with him, touch up on some theory stuff, and then like play Sundays to get like used to it. But that wasn't like. That was my plan, and then when I broke my foot and just completely went 100% in and putting in the volume and like, you know, tracking my results and looking at the details, like I've learned so much in this past 2 months over the last 5 years tournament wise that if I would have done my original plan, now knowing what I know now, like I would not have been as ready.
So you feel more comfortable?
I feel the most ready fucking I've ever been in tournaments. Like I feel so fucking good.
Good, man. I hope you go in there. I hope you destroy that shit too. Yeah. Nothing would be nicer than to see your face heads up versus somebody just smiling. Like men raising them that blind. Oh my God, you would be the first person to do that shit heads up. At the WSOP.
I might have to do it once just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Raise somebody.
So man, that's super awesome. I've played some online tournaments in my time. I don't have. If you think about how long I've been playing on, like how many years I've been playing online, just randomly dusting off shit, it's not that bad. But if you look at the number of caches, it's okay as far as what I've done. Live, not so much. Live, I've only played like the 1Ks that circle at Commerce, and I was doing that the year before COVID, and then COVID happened, and I've tried to make it to the like the most recent one.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, play 1025 with a bunch of crazy people. You go sit down 12 hours to make day 2. Like I'm in that place where I'm still trying to balance this shit out. I know WSOP is gonna be pretty freaking awesome because of the volume that's like the amount of people. Now my question to you is this, bro. Since they're mandating the vaccination stuff, do you think the fields are going to be softer or harder?
Well, this is the one thing I truly can't predict because I'm not sure because of the mandate if like regs or not regs, like the recreationals are willing to come out, but at the same time it should deter like the strong regs like overseas that can't really come. Like they could, but they have to do a workaround.
Yeah.
And it's like if they do come, it's because like they truly wanted to get here, you know. Like I don't think that many people are willing to do it. But at the same time, I don't know if that's gonna make an imbalance to like a shitload of recreational or little because they themselves may or may not want to make the trip. So like I have no idea, man. Like
okay.
But at the same time, we've been seeing record-breaking numbers in MCTs throughout the year, but at the same time, those didn't have mandates.
That's true too. But they didn't have mandates, but they had the whole mask and shields and all this stuff. So my birthday, just to show you guys the level of DJing that I'm at. So February 20th. So I think I was at Sin City Friday night all night. I flew out. I was there till like 6 a.m. I flew out at 7. Somehow made it, like I went from the game to the thing, flew out at 7. I arrived at Vegas at like 8:45 or whatever, checked into the Aria, took the taxi over to the Venetian, tournament started at 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Made it to like 7 o'clock-ish, dunked the shit out, like dunked off my stack at the end, flew back that night, and then instead of going home, I went straight to the Alibi and I played all night that night.
There was no sleep in between.
No sleep that night. That's birthday. That was my birthday gift for me to me. I think it was the Alibi where I ended up back at Sin City. One of those two. I don't remember. There's a lot of alcohol involved in between all that. But it was so funny because I remember these. It was an $800 buy-in that they had. And you had these guys that are like, this is my $800. This is my shot. So I'm like 3 betting, 4 betting, so fucking light. And I end up getting like ace queen in against I don't know what the fuck, and I end up sucking out on somebody, and this guy had like the audacity to be like, hey bro, why are you dunking off with ace queen or whatever? I'm like, dude, who gives a shit? It was the funniest stuff, dude. But like I had a really good time during that trip. That's when I realized that I'm getting old because my back was hurting the whole time we were sitting in there. I'm like, dude, these chairs are not the fucking business. So that's another thing that maybe deters me from like these long ones. But
your neighbor's gonna start hating you also.
Yeah. I don't want to get hated around the world either. But it was a good time, man. I'm not sure if I'm doing the WSOP. It's not the whole vaccine thing. I'm vaccinated. It's just opportunity cost, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm doing very, very, very well. So I took a shot. I took a shot at the. So this month, just this month, I mind disclosing numbers, especially to you, my coach, since you helped me get here. So I took a 25-50 shot. I lost 8K there. Despite the 8K, we're still projecting like above 20 for the month. Like, how do I not continue to do that? You know, because I go over there, I'm gonna be fucking stuck sitting down for a very long time. May cash, may not cash, and then it's very, very heavy on variance, bro.
Do what you like and enjoy, man. Like, there's no pressure in having to do like series and stuff like that. Like, tournaments are always around. They're always around. There's like WSOP is unique in its own. So if you really want to partake and enjoy that, like, do it now and understand that your cash games are gonna be there also later on. It's like they're always gonna be around. So like, just do what you want to enjoy at the moment.
Yeah.
And just do it. So like for me, like I'm very happy sacrificing the last 2 months of cash, because I've done it for years already. It's like, it's fine, man. Like, let me focus on tournaments. I want to give myself the best shot. Going to the series, do my best, and then take it from there. And then when I come back, I'll go back to cash. You know.
You know what's one really cool thing that I did enjoy about your courses, and I actually I sent you a text message via picture. Was you were teaching me this concept, and then that same night I was watching Soft for a while, you were playing on Poker Out Loud, and you were legitimately doing the exact same shit that you were telling me to do. I sent you a picture, I was like, look, you're practicing what you preach, so that's pretty cool stuff. I mean, of course,
everything I teach is like what's worked for me, and like a mix of everything I've learned, like, you know,
so that was pretty cool, because so like I own the Kanu course from Upswing, and he spends like a significant amount of time going over theory, but when he does the play and explain, he deviated so much from what he was trying to do. Obviously, because he's trying to teach something that's different than what he's trying to think. He was trying to teach what he felt was optimal at that time, but not what he was practicing. So when I started working with you, it was really nice to see. Oh, okay, look, that's exactly what I meant. I just repeated that shit over to just so that it integrated in my head. Like, this is what we need to be doing. So that helped out a lot, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man.
Yeah.
And just to add to that again, like, that's why the one-on-one is valuable, because like the theory is important to learn, which the videos will teach you and all that stuff, right? It'll be more efficient with a coach. But once you understand the theory, like, as a coach, like, we could talk about why we're deviating and what to look for. The videos are very limited. If not, they don't teach you that at all, you know? So it's like, hey, I'm in your area, like, I play the live games, like, I understand the games, like, I know the pool, these are the patterns that you're going to see. Once you see that, do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know, and I've played East Coast, West Coast, like, I understand the pool, so, like, the whole point is, like, I'm able to teach you what to look for so you can deviate efficiently, you know?
So how did you get started? Did you just, like, are you one of these people that just backed into a tournament and now I say I'm a pro? That's it. It's all
I'm rich, man. I'll be more rich.
All the way to the top from here.
No, man. The way I started is that me and my cousin were bored in the house, and this was like during the moneymaker time. So like 2003 or 4, like we saw an ESPN commercial.
Yeah.
So we were bored, like, oh, let's try that game. So he went to Modell's, bought like a cheap set of like card and like chips. We read the manual book, and we fucking
just went for it.
We just went for it, and we fucking mixed both the decks, like included. We were playing like that. We were playing like double deck, no limit hold'em. Yeah, we were like playing out of turn and everything. Like it was like 6 of us and stuff, and like we were just like, oh, the flop comes out, like he will start, this guy will start. It was fucking great.
That's so funny.
On the kitchen table and stuff. And then went on for years, and then we realized, like, oh, it's one deck. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, the button is for a reason. Like, we're supposed to go in order. Oh, okay, cool. And we did that, like, competed against each other. We did that for years, and it was really, really cool.
How old were you when you started that?
2003, 4, so I was like 15, 16, around there, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I'm 31 now, so like, yeah. So I guess I've been technically playing 15-ish years.
Yeah.
At some point I took a series, you know, I was taking it more serious than them. I started like, you know, learning about online poker, like these books and stuff, started teaching myself. eventually I started beating the shit out of them for like many games in a row. And then at some point I did the online thing, not as serious like Super Elite or Elite, but like trying to do it competitively. And then Black Friday happened, that stopped. Started focusing on paintball and my job. Paintball, yeah. I know bucket poker. Paintball. I was doing both. I was doing paintball and poker, but then poker took over and then paintball took over. And I was trying to do that professionally, because there's like professional teams and all that stuff.
I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, like look up speedball paintball, because there's paintball in the woods, which is like the stereotype one, and then there's speedball, which is a competitive, fast-paced, way more fun.
That's so funny, bro. I didn't know that. And I say it's funny because the only time I played paintball, my best friend lit me up hard, and I had my orange sleeve hanging out. I'm like, he said, I didn't know it was you. I'm the only one with orange.
I've seen it, yeah.
He just purposely let me have like 6 or 7 shots.
Yeah.
Sorry, please continue.
Let's go. So yeah, speedball, like paintball, like that was awesome, and I did that for years. I had a team. I was like captain, all that shit. But then at some point I had to make a decision. Like I'm getting older. Like the team is boring. I'm wasting my time. Like
you said I'm getting older in your 20s.
Like 25 or something like that.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
It's like I just knew like I had to do something. I'm like, all right, this is not going anywhere, and I was already doing it for years. Like at that point, like from 15 to 25, like I'm 10 years in and stuff. It's like I'm not working. I'm getting in touch with the right people and stuff. Like I'm good enough to be at certain teams, but then like political shit gets in the way. And then it got to a point, and I was traveling a lot, so I was like traveling like 1 or 2 hours just to get to a field, to practice and stuff. And I took it serious, and some people were not taking it serious. So it's like this is getting like a big waste of time. It's a team effort. Like it's like I'm the only one trying. Everybody is kind of like half-assing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like spending money competing and stuff, and not getting anything in return, not getting anywhere. So I'm like,
what's the winning prize for in a tournament like that?
It's not a lot. So that's the other thing. It's like even if I do become a pro, like the only way I'm gonna make money is like if I'm top like 0.5%.
Okay.
I'm getting sponsored, and like companies are taking care of my expenses and paying me.
Yeah.
But you have to be top, like super top.
Well, I'm glad you made the transition over.
Yeah. So eventually I was like, fuck this. I got reintroduced to poker for like my birthday. I had my first live casino experience, and as soon as I did that, I'm like, I got hooked again, like immediately. And then when it started going back to Atlantic City like more often, I'm like, yo, I really like this. And then something snapped. I'm like, I have to do this. This is what I have to do. And I've already been working in the bank for years, and I already felt like with my job, like I couldn't imagine myself behind a cubicle.
I can't picture you in a bank, bro.
I was. You seen the crazy side, but like I get pretty professional. Like, so I couldn't envision myself being a banker, like convincing people to bring their money in for like the next 40 years. Like I was sick and tired of it.
Yeah. Why don't we switch to taking the money from them at the poker table?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I get to set my own schedule.
Yeah.
So
that's the best part about all this stuff.
Yeah. So I just like got really passionate about that, and like I just slaved myself for like 4 or 5 years, like teaching myself to the point where I felt comfortable like taking a chance.
You started at what stakes?
Well, I started playing like 1-2, and then eventually built my role to 2-5, and then shot taking 5-10. When I left to do it for a living, I was still playing 2-5.
You played as high as 5,100, right?
Yeah.
That's a big game, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big game. Sorry, I see people playing that shit, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, so I pretty much played almost all the stakes. Like, but the 5,100, I was like back for, but it was a great experience, like playing that big. So I played everything from 1-2 to 5,100. And then like now I'm just here like years later, like coaching, doing it professionally, still here like 5-6 years later. Like,
yeah, man,
it's been fun, man.
Yeah, you gotta do what you love, man. You gotta do it. You gotta. If COVID has taught us anything, regardless of whatever your views are on the situation, life's too short, dude. Just follow what your passion is, and just keep pushing forward. I forgot who said this, but like find something that you love, do that for a living, and you'll never work a day in your life.
And I really like the reason I took the chance is like when I kept thinking about like not giving myself a chance, and like say I just take the safe route and like just worked at the piano desk for 40 years, it's like I'll be comfortable, but like I'm not gonna be satisfied.
Exactly.
And I kept thinking about that over and over and over. I'm like, I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't live with myself,
bro. I am with you 100%. So I spent 15 years moving myself, like moving up the corporate ladder. I reached executive status at 3 different companies. I was doing pretty well, 6-figure jobs, and what you learn is that like it's what you do that's fulfilling, bro.
Yeah, man.
More than anything, and then that's the reason that I'm pushing myself so hard. Some people might feel bad for me when they see me just about to pass out because I'm so tired at the tables. Don't feel bad. I'm like the happiest there. If anything, have a shot with me. Like, talk to me. Like, I'm not an asshole. That's a better thing. But I'm enjoying every single second of it, man.
Yeah, you enjoy that experience.
Exactly. You get to meet all kinds of different people, man. Most people in this world are kind, and I really enjoy pain equity, bro. It's really nice. I will fire a couple bullets to make sure that someone feels some pain.
But you wouldn't enjoy people's company, but you wouldn't make them suffer at the same time.
A little bit, man. You know, but it's definitely a good thing.
It's part of the fun, right? Like, it's a game.
I would say that to somebody that's considering, regardless of whatever stage they're in, like I'm the story of the guy I'm the story of the guy that just failed a lot. Yeah. But just had the sure will and determination to keep fucking going and understand that there's an issue, because that was the hardest thing. I think a lot of people don't subscribe to these sites or read books or analyze themselves or get coaching because they're not being honest about like their skill set or what's going on. Oh, it's luck. Oh, it's variance. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. You know what, man? Maybe check shoving an ace jack off here is bad because I've lost fucking 10 buy-ins over the last whatever it is, you know what I mean? And so like being able to be objective about it is what's allowed me to just keep going, man. Like when I lost that 8K shot at 2550, like I was happy. Yeah. You know, it sucks, but went home, smoked some weed, went to sleep, got up, was again the very next day. Was spent 10.25 the very next day. And that's just the nature of the thing, man.
That's a really good attitude to have.
Yeah, man.
You just learn from it.
It's just fucking money, and it sounds stupid, but it really is, man. Like I'm healthy-ish. I'm alive. Let's say that. Okay, scratch all that. I'm alive.
Given everything you mentioned before, I'm gonna go with the healthy-ish.
Yeah, I'm healthy-ish, and I'm happy when I'm conscious. So like, why not, man? You know?
Yeah.
It's a good thing, and if poker is for you, man, then give it a shot, dude. It's definitely a fucking. What general advice would you give someone that's considering like, oh man, maybe I'm hesitant at playing, or maybe I'm hesitant at taking it a little bit more serious, or maybe hesitant at reaching out for help?
It's not as bad as you think. A lot of this stems from a form of insecurity, whether you think you're going to be judged for, whether you think you're afraid of failing. It's not that bad. Like if you fail or whatever, like it's not that you suck or whatever. Like it might just be in a learning process, and you just gotta take it with grace. You know, like you said, when you took that shot and you like lost, right? You learn from that. It's like, all right, this happened. Take a step back, see what happened. Maybe you could improve with something. Maybe it was standard, right? But like be observant about it, like learn from it, and just keep going. Like if you don't give yourself a chance, like you're not gonna like. You don't give yourself a chance, you will never progress. But at least if you give yourself a chance, like it may or may not work out. That's a better chance than not trying at all.
Exactly. And going back to the courses that you did. And the only reason I keep bringing them up is because they impacted me so heavily. One of the cool things that I really enjoyed was you're very honest. So if I was like, well, what about this, and that? And to you it sounded like I was like completely off the rails. Nope, stop. This is why it's bad. And then you'd explain this and then we move on. Or you would be like, you have the right idea, try this instead. Or, yeah, that's good. Like that's cool. Do that. And a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people might be scared to hear that shit. Right? Oh, he cut me off, he's a dick. Dude, you're paying this guy because he knows more than you and he's telling you why you're making a mistake. Just shut up and listen, bro. Try it. Give it a shot. If it's not for you, then you can continue dunking off with ace 10 off and it's okay.
What I will say to that is that and I tell all my students is like there's rarely like an absolute wrong or right. It's more about like understanding the situation, understanding what's implementable in that situation, like what strategy is acceptable here that's gonna be more beneficial for you. So like what you might be thinking might be on the right track, but you have to consider some other variables. You know, there are some things that are like too many negatives versus good. So I gotta let you know.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, and I think but a different way of saying what Fausto was saying right now is you can come into a situation with different strategies where one may win you 10 big blinds, one will yield you 35 big blinds, one will yield you 50 big blinds, and one will be minus your entire stack.
Yeah.
Right? And what he's trying, what he would do for me would be, okay, this is the plus 50 big blind approach. But this is how I would think about it to try to get you to 50 big blinds. Versus, you know what? 10 big blinds is cool, bro. Like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Keep it at 10, bro. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And you're right in that nothing's absolute. I think everything changes depending on stack depth. Table dynamics is fucking huge, and how tilted your opponent is too. Because if his range is everything.
There's a lot of situations where like, yeah, this is making money, but this is making more money.
You know what's funny? My best friend actually gave me an advice that says exactly what you said.
Yeah.
He's like, Eric, I notice you're flipping a lot. Like, why are you flipping with people when you have a significant edge? I'm like, okay, you're right. Like, this, in theory, this should be a jam, but I don't have to jam because I can push them off on flops and turns a lot more frequently and just, I'll win less, but I win more at a frequency.
You sacrifice one part of your strategy for the grade of another part of your strategy.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I spoke with Art Papazian. Actually, I say it like we're friends. I was watching.
Art is cool as fuck, man.
He is cool. So we
started talking about Pokemon cards the other day. It's so random,
dude. That dude's such a gangster at the table. So I was watching him stream like an online WSOP event, like a 1.5.
Yeah.
And I was so shocked that there was only it was me and 3 other people watching him. I'm like, dude, this guy's a fucking assassin playing fucking infinite big and all this other shit, millions of dollars tournament, and nobody's here. So I started just interacting with him in the chat, and he was interacting with me back. So I asked him, I'm like, hey man.
Wait, what was he streaming this at?
He streamed once on Twitch, like fucking. So I think we're talking about piling, right?
I was saying that like Aces has no value unless you're willing to show it.
That's my dad from Mexico. They just joined.
Okay.
Hi dad, hola pa.
You blew off from 2-5 to 5-10 really quickly.
Yeah. So I was talking to my friend. My friend primarily plays cap games.
Yeah.
So it's really hard in the cap game for multiple people to be like infinite deep, right? You can have one guy just like you. You should post pictures that you're 5'10". Like how often are other people getting there? How often are other people getting to 15K stacks? You're like, dude, 10K, 15K. At that point, the table is yours for the taking, right? Because the maximum exposure that you have is 1.5, 2, 3K, whatever it is, right? So for him, he couldn't. He would say, okay, we're at the river. So what'd you do? Did you bet like a quarter pot? Did you bet third pot? Because that's an easy call. I'm like, no, I overbet like 5x pot for like 5K. What the fuck? Why would you do that shit? I'm like, well, I got the desirable outcome, which was for him to float. He's like, but he only has to call you one time. Sure, yeah, you're right. He does only have to call me one time. Can he call me that? He's like, then he would say something like, well, I think that's kind of an easy call. But you know how I play. Like, I'm telling you exactly what's happening, this and that. And then even if you knew how I was playing, it's still like an infinite amount. Like 5K to us, to some people, it's still 5. Okay. You and I playing 1025, 5K is 5K, but it's not the same 5K that it is to the people that are walking around this, right? For us, we see it as points, we see it as bullets, we see it as all these other different things. But it's a very interesting situation to be in, man. I did want to ask you something while we talk about this before we go.
I think you're out of frame a little bit.
Yeah, like that. Okay. I did want to ask you, when you're speaking with people that don't play poker, do you often find yourself like do you find yourself in weird situations when you're talking about money and the value of it, what it means to you versus what it means to other people? So like $100 for you and me is what, a 3-bet, 4-bet opening, depending on the game we're doing $300 and same shit. We're looking at it that way, but for them it's like, I don't know, that's some shoes, that's this, that's blah blah blah. Now you think about losses. When I was talking to some people, I had minus 8K loss. They're like, bro, that's like fucking months of rent for this, months of rent. But I see it as a buy-in. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I surround myself with a lot of the same minded people where like a lot of my friends are poker related. So even my girlfriend, like she's really into poker. Like she be like studying like check lazy motherfuckers out there. So
Nice.
even when I explain it to her, like it's funny. She even tells me sometimes like if I'm like, I remember early when we was like dating. I was like telling her some Babby stories, and she's like, "Yeah, that's normal. Like, man, the fuck up."
She said that to you?
She said that to me.
That's so funny, dude.
She's like, "Man, the fuck up." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. You got a point." That was fucking amazing.
Oh, that's
I loved her ever since then. So.
All right, that's it. We're together.
Yeah, but yeah, like, so, but I've heard stories like people like having to explain. I've had some few friends, I guess old colleagues, when I was telling them about poker, that they'll be shocked about the numbers, but like, you know, like we know it's normal, you know.
We're leveraging. That's what it is. We're leveraging resources to get more leverage. Same shit as the stock market.
Yeah.
Except ours is a little bit more.
We're just
calculated.
investing in spots that we think is profitable. We know it's profitable, so we take the spot, you know.
Or we are investing money to cost paying so that we can then get into spots where they're profitable.
Exactly.
And then we make the
It's
money.
all investment.
That's all it is, bro. It's all it is. Yes, and you know what's so funny? When, like at least when I talk, when people talk to me about private games, I think the biggest asset in all these games for me are the cocktail waitresses, because it's so easy to have them get everybody fucking drunk, and now it's just fucking piling on piling on piling.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of who's the most conscious, because that's the person that's gonna make the better decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a funny story, man. It is good stuff. Before we get out of here, man. Where can people find you? And then what do you have going on right now, dude? Sorry, we can't help you right now. Thank you.
I'm very hungry.
Sorry. You want to get she got a box, we give her some food. I don't have cash with me.
Let's go.
Sorry. But where can people find you, bro?
They can find me blueprintpokercoaching.com. Instagram, where I'm most active in social media, so Fausto_Valdez. That's pretty much it. You know, if people could, if they have any questions or whatever, they could email me, or reach me in the contact. They could DM me, whatever. Reach me in the contact form in the webpage, and I'll answer any questions you guys have.
Limited though. Don't get too specific.
Yeah, you guys gotta hurry up because series is coming up. I'm gonna get busy. So.
That's right, dude. How many tournaments are we doing?
Probably like 10 or more. So.
Okay, yeah. So you
definitely more, yeah.
Then these aren't one-day tournaments, in case anybody's wondering. It's multiple days.
Yeah.
So when he says 10 tournaments, it's a month. He's gonna be busy for an entire month. Hopefully he wins.
So a month and a half, 2 months. Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming around.